Hello, students. I am Mansi, and it's good to meet you again. So, today I will teach you a new chapter from your Class 12 English textbook, Flamingo. The name of today's story is Lost Spring, and it's written by Anis Jung. Anis Jung was born in 1944 in Rourkela but spent her childhood and youth in Hyderabad. She has been the editor of various renowned publications from India and abroad. A few of the famous books written by her are Unveiling India, Night of the New Moon, Seven Sisters, and Breaking the Silence. Today's lesson narrates Anis Jung's encounter with two children. Each of these children has a story to tell. Both these stories describe the condition of marginalized children who are deprived of a normal life and are exploited by a system that is completely indifferent to their miseries. Lost Spring here refers to stolen childhood. Spring is the season when lots of flowers bloom. It's a season of color and warmth. But these children spend their days working hard for their families. They do not know what it means to have a normal childhood. The many colors and happiness of the spring season is lost to them forever. Childhood is regarded as the most beautiful and most important stage of one's life. Every child in his childhood needs three basic things: a home and a family that would give him protection, love, and care; proper nutrition that would help him to build his strength and grow normally; and education which should give him knowledge, develop his skills, and help him make his own identity in the world. Now, students, take a look at these pictures. What do they tell you? These are the pictures of children from a slum area. These children live in an extremely poor, dirty, and unhygienic condition. They are malnourished and have no access to safe drinking water. They do not go to schools and are burdened with the responsibility of earning at a very young age for their family. From there starts a long and hard struggle with poverty and crime. Now let's discuss the first story of the chapter. There are just two characters in this story, that is, Sahib-e-Alam, a poor ragpicker boy, and Anis Jung, the author. The story unfolds as the author gets to know the struggle and hardships of the ragpickers through Sahib and his friends. Before we start, it is important to know what a ragpicker is. A ragpicker is a person who picks up rags and other waste materials from the streets for survival. Scraps of discarded food, a little piece of torn and worn out clothes, broken glasses, they collect everything that can be useful to them for earning a little money and managing 2 square meals a day. Many of these ragpickers live in Simapuri, a slum dwelling just outside Delhi. It's an area where 10,000 ragpickers live. The people of Simapuri are mostly Bangladeshi migrants, people who came from Dhaka in 1971 after their fields and homes were destroyed by storms. From the green fields of Bangladesh, they have made their way to the slums of Simapuri. Simapuri is a place that has been described by the author as being truly on the periphery of Delhi, an area which is close to the glitter and high life of Delhi, yet so far in terms of even basic necessities. These ragpickers live here in an almost inhuman condition in the mud houses of tarpaulin and tin roof. Poor sanitation, shortage of clean water, poverty and hardships are part of their life. They don't have any identity, but only a ration card and a voter's ID, which help them to buy grains. The author talks to the women of Simapuri who prefer to be rag pickers as it gives food and shelter for their children rather than going back to their country where they were hungry and homeless. The author's encounter with the rag pickers of Simapuri takes place through Sahib, a very young rag picker who spends his time in the garbage dump along with his friends in the morning. His parents migrated from Dhaka, Bangladesh. His full name is Sahib-e-Alam, which means Lord of the Universe. The author finds the name quite strange and inappropriate, considering the absolute poverty and struggle that Sahib is thrust into. He wants to go to school, but he says there is no school in his neighborhood for poor kids like him. For the grown-up people of Simapuri, garbage gives them a means to provide for their families. But for Sahib and other children like him, it's like a treasure hunt. They feel surprised and happy if they can get a coin or a 10-rupee note in the garbage by chance. The ragpicker boys of Simapuri are always barefooted. The author asks one boy why he is not wearing any chappals or shoes. And he simply replies that that is because his mother did not get the shoes from the shelf and so he couldn't wear them. Another boy tells the author that even if his mother had given him the shoes, he wouldn't have worn them because he does not like to wear shoes and prefers to be barefooted. One boy tells her that he wants shoes. The author notices that while some boys are wearing different shoes on both feet, some are desperate to find a pair of shoes in the garbage dump. One boy explains that it is a tradition among ragpickers to remain barefooted. But the author wonders if this explanation is just an excuse to hide their poverty. This reminds the author of a story she heard about a little boy who prayed for shoes at a temple where his father was a priest. 30 years later, when the author visited the temple, she found another little boy wearing school uniform, shoes and socks. This reminds her of the boy who prayed to God for never losing his shoes again. Soon the author finds Sahib wearing an old and discarded pair of tennis shoes, which he is proudly and happily wearing. He likes to watch tennis but is not allowed to enter the tennis club. He is content to watch the game from outside of the fence. The author meets Sahib again. This time, Sahib tells him that he has got a job at a tea stall where he earns 800 rupees a month and all his meals for free. However, the author feels that even though Sahib now has an assured income, but he is no longer his own master as he has lost his freedom. Now let's discuss the next story of the chapter that deals with the children working in the bangle industry of Firozabad. The characters of this story are Mukesh, a child laborer who works in the bangle industry, his father, grandmother, his sister-in-law, Savita, another girl working in the bangle industry, and the author Anis Chand. The story is set in Firozabad, which is famous for its bangle making industry. Bangles are regarded as sacred and auspicious for married women in India. But the workers who make them live in extreme poverty and misfortune for generations. The working condition of the bangle industry is extremely unsafe and dangerous, as the dust from the polishing of the bangles make the workers go blind at a very early age. In fact, Mukesh's grandfather had lost his vision due to working in the bangle industry. Mukesh proudly shows off his home to the author, which he says is being rebuilt. A poorly built small slum cottage where he lives with his family. His father has been working in this industry for a long time, but has been unable to renovate his house or send his two sons to school. Both Mukesh and his brother work in the bangle industry. Mukesh's grandmother has accepted the miseries of a life as being a part of their destiny. She feels that, like her ancestors, Mukesh also has to continue in this profession since they are born in the caste of bangle makers. She calls it his destiny or karma. Savita is another young girl who works in this industry. An elderly woman walking beside Savita tells the author that despite the hard work, she is unable to have a full meal every day. The author then asks a group of young men why they don't organize themselves into a cooperative. But they say that they are afraid to organize as the police always beats them up and sends them to jail. The author then analyzes the various reasons responsible for the dismal condition of the bangle makers of Firozabad. Since these people are born into the caste of bangle makers, they feel they are destined to work here. People like Mukesh's grandmother resist any change of profession since they feel that it is what they are destined to do. There is no union or cooperative to organize them to protest against the system. Even if they protest, they are beaten and sent to prison by the police. The author calls it a vicious or evil circle of law and order, police, middlemen, politicians, bureaucrats, and moneylenders who force this burden on little children like Mukesh and destroy their chance at happiness. However, even though there is hopelessness and sadness all around, the author feels cheerful when Mukesh says he wants to get out of this age-old profession and expresses hope of learning driving in a garage and becoming a motor mechanic one day. When the author says that the garage is a long way from his home, he says that he would walk his way. Anis Jung asks him if he wants to fly a plane someday, but Mukesh looks embarrassed. For him, becoming a car mechanic is like a dream and he doesn't aspire beyond that. For the author, Mukesh's determination and dream brings a little ray of hope to the otherwise sad and hopeless picture of miseries and misfortune. So students, let us now summarize the entire story. The author has two encounters. One with Sahib-e-Alam, a young ragpicker who lives in the Simapuri slum area in the outskirts of Delhi. People living in Simapuri are Bangladeshi migrants from Dhaka who came and settled here after their home and fields were destroyed by storm in 1971. They live here in an extremely poor and unhygienic condition. Garbage to the grown-up ragpickers is a source of living, but for the children, it's like a treasure hunt for valuables like a 1 rupee coin or a 10 rupee note. Simple things like a pair of shoes or basic education are beyond their reach, their unfulfilled dreams. Soon Sahib gets a job at a tea stall where he gets 800 rupees a month and free meals. But the author feels that he has lost the freedom he enjoyed as a ragpicker. The second boy is from a family of bangle makers from Firozabad. His name is Mukesh and he dreams of becoming a motor mechanic one day. For generations, these children are thrust into the profession of bangle making, even though the profession is physically harmful for them and they hardly earn anything from it. No one dares to dream or protest against their condition as they're afraid of police brutalities. The author sees two distinct aspects of the story. The family elders who consider glass bangle making as their destiny and are resistant to change, and the evil circle of policemen, middlemen, politicians, bureaucrats, and moneylenders who force these people to continue to live in hardships and poverty. It is a hopeless situation, but the author feels happy to see that Mukesh is determined to get away from this profession and become a car mechanic. He is happy and content with his dream. So students, that's all for today. See you soon for the next lesson. Thank you.